My name's Ronny Haze, and I'm a massive fan of The Thing. The 1981, not the 2011, the sequel, but it's a prequel. It has the same name. I don't understand the logic in that, but the more I think about it, The Thing isn't my all-time favorite movie because it's perfect. I give it that number one spot because it's probably the movie I've watched the most, and I've never gotten sick of it. Now, given I don't try to marathon it over and over and over and over again, when I first moved to North Carolina for work, that was the only movie there was. It was just that movie, crashing at a family's house. It was just that movie and a VCR. It wasn't even a DVD or nothing. Old school VHS. So I popped that in every night when I got home from work because there was nothing. I moved down with just the clothes off my back. This was long ago. And I realized from that experience mainly, The Thing is my favorite movie because it just never loses its charm for me. So when they announced The Thing remake, something started bubbling up, like I might have been the old me where I get a little frustrated because I just don't trust Hollywood. Usually they put out crap. 9 out of 10 times it's garbage. And then we get like that one movie that's actually solid. However, as I am maturing and getting older, it's easier for me to detach and just pick which movies that I love and just forget about the sequels or remakes that are just absolute garbage. So if it's a movie, I don't care if it's a part 2 or a part 6 or a part 8. If that's the only one I love, that's the only one I buy, it's the only one I watch, I don't need to worry about anything else that comes out that's not good. However, as I've grown and matured in that regard, there's also a way to look at this in a positive light, because the 2011 thing, they butchered it with the CGI. Too much CGI, which is insane because if you're familiar with that, you know they had a ton of practical effects and they looked damn good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look into that. You'll want to fly to Hollywood, find out who made that call, and punch them upside the head. They have no right being in Hollywood. We should have someone else who deserves that spot more than whoever made that decision to put CGI over amazing-looking practical effects. Anyhow, now when it comes to this, it's not just a remake. Now, originally John Carpenter adapted The Thing from a book that was already adapted in the 30s or 40s, something like that. It's old as shit. So it was adapted long ago, and if I have this right, it was adapted once in movie form, and then John Carpenter did it in the 80s, and then in 2011 they did a prequel, which takes place right before the 1981, which I love that concept. But the reason this is different is because the guy who wrote the book, and we'll go through the information, but the guy who wrote the book had more of his novel, and this is kind of cool, that was just recently discovered. That part piqued my interest a lot. So I'll cap off my thoughts after we read this article and get the information here. Universal and Blumhouse may team up to remake The Thing with a new version based on the recently surfaced long lost pages of the original novel by John W. Campbell Jr. Campbell's short novella, Who Goes There, which became the basis for 3 previous film adaptations, was originally published in August 1938 issue of Outstanding Science Fiction. I'm trying to think of the 3 adaptations. Is that the 3 I mentioned, or am I missing one? But had to be cut down for publication. In 2018, a novel-length version of Campbell Jr.'s was discovered. 2018. So yeah, that was not too long ago. Okay, so 2018, that's actually hype. And a Kickstarter was launched to release the entire novel, titled Frozen Hell. It's a contradiction. It's an oxymoron, I guess you would call it, but I like the title. Now, Universal and Blumhouse are reportedly collaborating to adapt the original, unpolished novel into the latest film version of this classic story. According to Bloody Disgusting, Universal and Blumhouse are teaming up to adapt the never-before-seen expanded version of Campbell Jr.'s novel Frozen Hell. It's official. Producer Alan Dones wrote. Donez? Did I say that right? Probably not. I'm dumb like that when it comes to names. Wrote in a Facebook post on Friday, I received my signed contract and my first check. I am executive producing a remake of The Thing, but with additional chapters of John Campbell's groundbreaking novel, Frozen Hell, that had been lost for decades. I hope that was like confirmed. It wasn't like someone found a little bit of paper and they were like, yo, let's retype some shit. I'm sure they probably did it. I'm just saying. Now, for the first time ever, Campbell's full vision will be realized on the big screen. The new film will include the very best of RKO's The Thing from Another World. I think that was the name of the first movie that was made. John Carpenter's classic, The Thing, and both books, Frozen Hell and Who Goes There. Sci-fi writer John B. Betancourt, who launched the Kickstarter campaign to fund the release of Frozen Hell in 2018, shared an update on the fully funded project, telling supporters a film adaptation was in the works. The movie will be from Universal and Blumhouse, blah, blah. Everyone is super excited about it, and it's being fast-tracked. This is just the tip of the iceberg of, I see what you did there, of what's going on with Who Goes There, Frozen Hell, and The Thing in Hollywood. I can't talk about the rest yet, but it's very exciting. And if all goes as planned, The Thing will be alive and well for quite a while. That's it. That's an interesting little statement. Maybe they mean like the book, and then, you know, because if it's as big as they're saying, who knows? There might be like a 2-part movie we're looking at. I don't want to get ahead of things, but the last time Hollywood tackled The Thing was in the 2011 prequel film directed by yada yada yada, which was both a commercial and critical flop, and it deserved it because you destroyed it with the CGI. However, the 1982 I always screw that up. I was going to say 84. I don't know why, but I always go, it's not 84, it's 82. It's not 84, it's not 84. And my brain remembers 84 all the time. John Carpenter, the film The Thing, which followed Howard Hawks' 1951 film, I was way off, The Thing from Another World, I was right about that, is still considered as a horror classic and has spawned a variety of merchandise. A 1982 novelization, haunted house attractions, board games, video games, sequels, and comic books. A new The Thing remake has yet to be confirmed by Universal or Paramount, so take all this with a grain of salt, but Blumhouse has had a strong track record with horror reboots and sequels, such as Halloween and Black Christmas, and we all know Hollywood can't resist a good remake of a horror classic these days. They're damn right about that. The one thing I'm afraid of is, I'm afraid of a couple things, but one is I'm afraid they're going to make it too big and try to do too much and turn it into a trilogy franchise. I'm a little afraid of that, and I know that's unfounded. That kind of comes out of nowhere. On the flip side, in a way, nowadays, you do have to lean towards not just movies, but larger scope stories and characters. So that way you can have a part 2, a part 3, maybe, and more often. See, back in the day, it was about the one story. Movies were so, what's the word I'm looking for? There was just such a heavy focus on telling that one story. And then you'll see movies that spawn sequels, and that was a thing for franchises. But nowadays, between movies and streaming and all that, the franchise itself is what really grips it, because then all you're doing is you're just constantly remaking stuff. Like Ghostbusters, just going to remake it. There's tons of stuff. Lethal Weapon remade into a movie series. I mean, anything that was popular that is franchisable is just going to keep getting remade. They're going to come out with a new everything movie, new Die Hard, new Lethal Weapon, they'll have new Star Wars movies, we know that, they'll have new this, that, and the third. New Halloween, once they do Halloween Ends, which is the third one out of that trilogy, damn well in maybe a few years they're going to come back with a full reboot of Halloween. It's never going to die because it is a business after all. So one thing I'm a little afraid of that, but that's getting off a sideways rant that's kind of just in the back of my mind. I'm excited about this because of the new stuff, but I'll be honest, there's a part of me that is excited because I just love that world and the idea. the claustrophobic atmosphere with the snow. You know what I mean? That with this monster, with this type of creature, with what it does, with how it does, if they utilize the practical effects, the one thing I feel is missing, there was a lot of charm and charisma from the cast and crew, and I feel especially from Kurt Russell, who brought a ton of charm to the role. There was Kurt Russell and what's his name, the last two who were the survivors at the very end of the thing. But I was about to say, the thing here is there's enough potential if Hollywood just does it right. I'm afraid they're going to go into this like they're focused on stats. All right, well, what is it? Let's look at stuff that worked for slashers and let's kind of incorporate that. And that's one thing that we know they've done. If you watch some behind-the-scenes stuff and some documentaries of some failed attempts in the past on different things, you've seen them go, oh, okay, well, this works, so we're going to pump this out, which doesn't fit in that lane. Like, the thing doesn't fit into a slasher, but I can see how they would kind of do that, because if you get this creature that does that, and then he kind of goes around this area, hacking and slashing. I'm just hoping for whatever this new material is, they have some genuine love and passion for the story brought to the screen to tell us something that has more unique and interesting and refreshing stuff with a lot more practical, aided with CGI, more of that instead of focusing on stats and other tricks and gimmicks. I'm excited about this, and if it flops, and I think this is where the maturing with my old age comes into play, if it flops, I still got the thing, and I'm going to enjoy the shit out of that. You know what I'm saying? So you guys put your thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. What do you think about the thing? What do you think about the new material that was found and discovered? And are you excited for this? Is this something that you want to see? All right, thoughts and opinions in that comment box. Oh, yeah. Do you trust them? Do you trust them at all? Thoughts and opinions down there. I'm done talking. It's your turn.